reportedly wants to be a Vancouver Canuck. But is this just trade bait or a deal actually in the works? Today we're moving past the rumors to break down 4 realistic trade packages that could actually land right in Vancouver, including the one major prospect that the Kraken might not be able to refuse. Let's get into it right now. We're going to start off with the first of these 4 packages. Of course, first name, and we talked about this name in particular in our previous video, that of course being some sort of Jonathan Lekkerimäki swap. The two were drafted, of course, just 11 spots apart in the 2022 entry draft. Shane Wright, of course, at 4th overall, and Lekkerimäki at 15th overall. That difference, plus the handful of good showings that Wright has already had at the NHL level, gives him inherently more value, but it might be closer than most think. Lekkerimäki does have those eye-popping AHL goal totals behind him and has at times been ranked as a top 25 prospect in the NHL, though not super recently. The Kraken are and always have been an offense-starved team. They could really use a sniper, and Lekkerimäki still projects to potentially be one of those. There's also the Patrik Allvin connection, with the former GM having made Lekkerimäki his first selection with the Canucks long before moving on to the Kraken as an assistant general manager. If the Kraken really like Lekkerimäki, the Canucks might not need to add too terribly much on top to make the swap happen, but that's a matter of pro scouting in the end. So maybe, I don't know, third, maybe a 4th round pick potentially on top of Lekkerimäki for Shane Wright. Let me know what you guys think about that package in particular in the comment section down below. Now, there aren't really many established pieces on the Canucks end that would make much sense. Their most readily available trade chip is, of course, Jake DeBrusk. This is potential package number 2. We did mention the Kraken's need for offense, but DeBrusk doesn't really move the needle too much for them or give them much of anything they don't already have. Again, if they have a real interest here, something might be worked out, and in that case, the value between DeBrusk and Wright is probably a little closer. They've had a tough time attracting UFAs, and DeBrusk does come with a long-term contract in hand. And of course, when he was a UFA, just a little tidbit, apparently it came down to Vancouver and Seattle as his preferred destination. He, of course, ended up choosing Vancouver, but maybe that might lure DeBrusk there. As we all know, DeBrusk does have a full no movement clause. But Seattle would have to outright like the fit, and that seems unlikely with their wings already stuffed with quote-unquote middle 6 talent. That same glut of wingers probably precludes any major interest in the likes of Drew O'Connor or Linus Karlsson. Most of the truly interesting pieces on Vancouver's behalf should be safely locked behind the not up for negotiation barrier. We're talking anyone of any value who is younger than Wright at 22. That includes Zeke William, who apparently the Kraken want in a potential trade package, which I think the Canucks should absolutely say no. Tom Willander, who is someone else that we will get into a little bit later, Braden Coots, and anyone drafted in this past draft. We can probably also include fellow 22-year-olds Elias Pettersson and Liam Ogren on this list too. A Wright for Ogren swap might reasonably interest the Kraken, and perhaps more than a Lekkerimäki deal, but given how well Ogren seemed to fit in with the Canucks last year, they should probably hang on to him for now, and I completely 100% agree on that. To me, Ogren is, at least in my eyes, untouchable. You do not trade Ogren. One name that really intrigues here is that of Marco Rossi. We mentioned him in the last article as someone whose presence made Wright a little redundant in Vancouver. Rossi is a couple of years older than Wright and has already shown a lot more at the NHL level. Both probably top out as top 6 centers in the long run. Personally, we would call Rossi the better bet to have long-term success at this point in time. But if the Vancouver front office really believes in Wright's untapped potential, and if they like it, his younger age as a better fit with the rebuild, well, then maybe there's something to be had here. A Wright for Rossi trade seems ideal for the Kraken, who still need production from their top 6, especially from down the middle. Trading out Wright for a more sure thing is perfect for a non-rebuilding attempting to return to the playoffs franchise like Seattle. So there is your second trade package there, a Rossi for Shane Wright trade. Let me know your guys' thoughts on that potential package in the comments down below. In fact, such a trade might have the value tipped in Rossi's favor here, requiring some sort of sweetener from the Kraken to even it out. But as we said, this would require a lot of belief in Wright from the Canucks. If that's not the case, the odds suggest they're better off sticking with Rossi. And personally, I would not trade Rossi. He is still young, and obviously I'm a big fan of Rossi personally myself, so I would not be willing to do Rossi for Wright. Keep in mind, when Rossi came in, he obviously came in off of an injury and played actually pretty well for someone who was, pretty injured. Yes, he didn't put up the 60 plus points that he put up the year prior, but he still played pretty well for someone who was nursing a injury, when he was traded to the Canucks. And he actually did really well in the second half of the season after he healed from that injury. Now, beyond those pieces we've already discussed, it should be noted that the Kraken are the newest franchise in the NHL, and as a natural consequence, are still rather asset poor. This is especially true in terms of prospects and picks, which is something the Canucks have begun to accumulate. None of the Canucks' top prospects should be on the table here, as we mentioned earlier, but some from the lesser tiers could be of interest to Seattle, and maybe some sort of package can be cobbled together. We're talking prospects as good as Kirill Kudryavtsev or Victor Mancini at best, but preferably from even further within the cupboard like Sawyer Minio or Riley Patterson. Canucks' first-round picks in any year should not be available either, but they do have 5 second-rounders and 4 third-round picks spread out over the next 3 drafts. Canucks could definitely offer a quantity over quality package of a couple of prospects and picks and see if that's of any interest. If any team is going to bite on that, it's going to be the Kraken, but it mostly feels like wishful thinking. If we were to outline the possible scenarios here in ascending order of likeliness and sense making, we'd probably put that one at least likely and break it down like this. First up, a package of lesser prospects and picks for Shane Wright. Number 2, a package centered around Jake DeBrusk for Shane Wright. Number 3, a package centered around Marco Rossi for Shane Wright. And number 4, a package centered around Jonathan Lekkerimäki for Shane Wright. Out of these 4, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Which one of these 4 packages intrigues you the most? And which one do you think that the Seattle Kraken will likely bite on when it comes to these 4 potential packages? And do you think any 4 of these would land Shane Wright for the Canucks? And if none of those get the job done, we arrive at our most likely outcome, that is outbid by another team. As we said at the outset, Wright has no real say in where he gets traded, despite him mentioning that Vancouver is his preferred destination. And even though the Kraken are reportedly working with him to find a new destination, they've got no real incentive to shortchange themselves on a return that suits his desires. Like we mentioned in the previous video, when it comes to Brendan Gallagher, he had leverage. Shane Wright does not. In the end, Wright will almost certainly go to the team that offers him the most, and with that draft history and the intrigue of untapped potential, one has to imagine at least one of the other 30 NHL franchises might be convinced to offer something that the Canucks won't, like a first-round pick or a truly high-quality prospect, although I think Shane Wright is not worth that much, and that's just me. In which case, the Canucks can confidently exit negotiations and stick with what they're already working with. It's either one of the possibilities we outlined above, or it's an all-left situation, no rights. And yeah, they just had to throw in the right pun there at the end. But I want to know what you guys think. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you guys think about these 4 potential trade packages? Once again, I will outline them to you. Number 1, a package of lesser prospects and picks for Shane Wright. Number 2, a package centered around Jake DeBrusk for Shane Wright. A package centered around Marco Rossi for Shane Wright. And a package centered around Jonathan Lekkerimäki for Shane Wright. Once again, let me know your guys' thoughts on these 4 potential trade packages in the comment section down below. And of course, if you guys enjoyed this breakdown, on your way out, you can like the video and subscribe to the Line Change for more Canucks, NHL, and off-season related content. You can also become a member of the Line Change by smashing that join button. And now a quick and important message from our friends over at DraftKings. It all came down to it, a best-of-6 battle that saw the Carolina Hurricanes emerge as the Stanley Cup champions. Now as we enter the offseason, DraftKings has you covered every step of the way. The DraftKings Sports app is now available in all 50 states and includes all markets. Sweat every shift of the series all in one place with one app. New DraftKings customers sign up with code THPN, spend $5 to get $200 in rewards within 21 days. That's code THPN in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Bet with DK Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, that text pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Void in Ontario. Event contract trading with DraftKings predictions involves risk of loss. Sportsbook bonus bets expire in 7 days. $50 in predictions dollars issued weekly for 3 weeks, expire in 1 year. Redeem one non-withdrawable reward. Availability varies. Predictions offer void in New York. Ends June 28. Terms at dkng.co/audio.
Thank you for watching, and if you're listening to this on the audio platform, thank you guys for listening, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.